Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to do a full and complete service on the XCF Northrock. I've had it since January and it's really taken a beating. So I'm going to do a complete service on it today and thought I would film it just because there's really nothing too much unless you actually contact Northrock Bikes about the bottom bracket, and it'll just give you a better idea of what's going on inside the bike. So here we have it, the Northrock XCF fat bike from Costco. I did have this on a ride recently, but it was really dry, so I didn't even wash it for once. So now I'm just gonna strip it, take the componentry off, and see what's going on. Clean it, give it all a good clean. Nothing will need to be replaced, but I am gonna get into this head tube today and do a full service on that. I'm gonna get into the bottom bracket and do a full service on that. Just clean it up really nice and make sure it's all greased up and clean and ready for the next ride. It's due now for a good complete service. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so we're down to this. So I decided to remove the derailleur because it could use a service. The jockey wheels are gummy. Inspecting the brake pads. Brake pads look good. Normal. Okay, so the bottom bracket is out. I haven't done anything to this yet, haven't cleaned it or anything, so that's what it looks like on the inside. And a little bit of grit in there, but actually it doesn't look too bad considering the amount of times that I've washed that bike. And this is exactly how it looks, how I took it out. So as you can see, there is some grease there, but not much. A little bit of rust there on the inside. So that's why you do these services. A little bit of rust right there. But again, I can remove that. That's just, it It looks like rust, but it's actually dirty grease right there. So in case you're wondering, which I was wondering, this is a VP. This is a VP BC 63, so it's a 63 100. BC 1.37 by 24T. 150.5 millimeters. And obviously it's cartridge, so that's actually pretty, I like that cartridge. This is, again, I should say that this is factory. That's all. I'm going to clean it all up, do a nice service on it, put some fresh grease in there, of course. But before I do that, I'm going to take the headset apart. I've got the head set apart and the fork is not tapered. So here's the fork, straight steer. You got a little bit of surface rust happening there. Again, why you take these apart, and you can see the size difference. So I think this bike will take a tapered fork, which is pretty cool. Standard 1 1/8 here, and it looks like 1.5 inch there, so that's pretty cool. Looks like the headset, like I say, is set up for that, which is actually pretty cool. But I would say that this is honestly, this is steel for sure. It's heavy. Yeah, I would say the fork is probably the cheapest component on this bike. And the brakes. Fork and the brakes. If you do any kind of upgrade on this bike, I would do the fork and the brakes. Just switch the brakes over to hydraulic if you're going to do brakes. So this is the headset
there's a
bearing race here. And this is, I haven't even touched this yet. I haven't cleaned it, I haven't done anything to it. So you can see the amount of grease that's in there, which is next to none. So that's how much grease you're getting from the factory. So these bearings, I haven't cleaned yet either, so that tells you you should take this off when you get it home and do a service, a headset service and a bottom bracket service for sure. Okay, so this is the headset greased. I use marine grease for bicycle grease, because especially in here in the bottom bracket, because of the water effect of this grease, and it lasts forever. Bottom bracket all cleaned up, and the bearings all cleaned up. The race all cleaned up. Headset spacers. So there's the inside of the BB all cleaned up and greased up. Grease up those threads nice. So there wasn't any grease on this, just a little tiny bit on this before, and nothing inside the cup, and just a little bit on the outside of the cup. So now it's fully greased and ready for Just make sure you clean up the area. So that you don't have grease hanging all over the place. I like to keep that in, the grease in that area there, because it gets a lot of water down in there. I also don't torque these down super tight. It just helps with service later on. I just do bike checks. Now, unfortunately, you see a little bit of frame damage starting right there. That's from cable rub. So I'm gonna wrap that. See that? So crazy. I'm gonna wrap that piece of cable. My solution anyway to frame cable rub is 2 little strips of black electrical tape. Seeing that the frame is black, electrical tape is black, works for me, and it's cheap. The crank set, you make sure that these 4 bolts are tight, and I put a little lube, not grease, but lube on the threads that you use the crank puller. It's good to put a little bit of lube on those, so you want to keep those threads nice. Take care of those threads. So this is the derailleur all cleaned up. I've decided not to do a clutch service because it's perfectly fine. I will do another video separate from all this when I decide to do that, probably the end of the season. All right, so the Northrock XCF is ready to ride another day. So that was a full service. I did not do the bearings in the hubs because I did those actually last week. So those were the only things that I did not do. Went around the bike, did all the bolt checks. When I did the hub service last week, I also did a service on the free hub body as well. So yeah, that was a problem I had to fix. So I figured, well, when I got the free hub body off, I'm going to do service on the hubs as well. So I always give the rotors a clean with isopropyl alcohol. And I was going to change this rotor to the 180 that I have from the 160, but I can't do that yet because I need longer bolts, because this here is welded and part of the frame. So it's not actually an adapter, that's the post mounts from the frame. To add an adapter, I need longer bolts. So I will get those one day. I'm not in a big rush to change that, but I will change it because I have it. And yeah, other than that, she's ready to rock again for, well, probably till middle of the season. Maybe end of July I'll do another one. Do them regularly, and like I say, when you first get a bike, especially if it's a new bike or an old bike for that matter, and especially if you buy it new from a big box store, Walmart, Canadian Tire, Costco, or wherever else, or whatever the store is that you buy it from, chances are more than likely it will not have enough grease. It won't be properly tuned. The best bet, if you don't know, then take it to an LBS. If you do know, then it's just that much more fun. So yeah, thanks for watching, and like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Love what you ride.